we have our next series. Again, our reminders to everyone, the winner of this series goes up against Dark. Dark, he's waiting, he's chilling, he's having some drinks, he's cracking one open. You know, it's Sunday, you know, you can relax, you can chill. Especially after a 10-minute series. Oh god. And here we go. By the way, for those wondering, Yaku is still not awake. Oh god, no. It's been less than an hour and we already have a semi-finalist. Jesus Christ. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE. We have our South Korean Protoss player representing Kwangdong Freaks. It is Trap. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have his opponent, the Chinese Terran, one of the best Terrans in all, the best Terran in all of China, representing KaiZ Gaming. It is time. Let's go. So I did ask before we got into this, they are 0-0. This is game 1 of their series, so we're not jumping in mid-series. They haven't already started or anything like that, so we are getting in fresh. Beautiful, beautiful. And yeah, I do see I do see in the chat, I haven't seen that really from Dark. Go Dark, he did it in GSL. Or the Nidus or the hatchery is the question. Because I know Dark has been playing a lot with 12 pool hatcheries. And he did that in GSL. But yeah. It's really cool to see how aggressive Dark has been. It makes sense, you know, Zerg players, they don't really tend to enjoy going into the late game against Protoss. Or from what I've heard, neither do Protoss, to be fair. No one likes the late game. No one likes the late game. But alas, we are now in a different matchup, and it's been a while. It's been a while since we've casted time here on this channel. Again, just because we have been taking a bit of a break from ESL Open Cup casts. A lot of that is because Yaku has been focusing on his studies full time, so we haven't had as much free time to cast ESL Open Cup Asia. So it's great to be back. It's great to be back, and it's great to see, you know, so many good players sign up and compete in said event. Meanwhile, when it comes to Trap, we did cast him last week against Byun, and he 3-0'd Byun. It wasn't even close the way he smacked Byun down, and even in GSL, he was able to take down Gumiho to qualify this week. So Trap has been looking really good recently. In this, I say really, he's been looking good in this matchup. Not amazing. He did show a little bit of weakness against Gumiho, but Gumiho also had some very interesting builds, very unique builds. And I don't necessarily know if Time is that kind of player. He's aggressive, don't get me wrong. He's kind of known for his multitasking and dropping and kind of being all over the map. He's a great player to watch. But the question is, you know, can he overwhelm Trap the way that he usually overwhelms his opponents? That's a good question, because already we see something very interesting here from Time. This first Stalker, by the way, is kind of having his way with Time. Just punishing Time for not throwing down a bunker, by the way. Usually when you open up Marine like this, you prioritize a bunker on the low ground to be able to defend your natural base, but the Reapers come out. Stalker finally gets cleaned up. All these units will be cleaned up, but I do think this is a better trade overall for Trap. Looking at the units lost, Trap lost his Stalker and his Adept for 3 Marines and a Reaper. Oof. And we have another Stalker coming as well. Oh god. Again, Time being so greedy here, and now the Stalker's about to rock up. Again, without Stim, the Marines are going to have a hard time against the Stalker, but looks like the Stalker doesn't want to risk it, doesn't want to get into the mineral line, not yet, as a proxy pylon is thrown down. Meanwhile, oh no! Reaper gets into the mineral line, but he gets surrounded by the boys! Oh god. Hellion slips on in at least. Again, we did see a full scout checking Time's vision. He did see the Twilight Council, so he knows what the opener is. He saw it researching as well. Everything gets cleaned up. There was always potential there for damage, but Trap did a really nice job at cleaning everything up in the end. Not a good job at denying the scout, though. It feels bad. Feels bad. Meanwhile, Time, finally, he throws down the bunker. He's like, fine, I'll get it. I didn't want to, but I'll do it. And now that he has a bunker, he should be relatively safe and secure here at his natural base. just working on the rest of his bio production. He's not going for any kind of drop. I don't know if you noticed, but he did open up with a bit of a 3 racks, so he did end up delaying his starport. Eventually he should get a starport, and this push should come with some medevacs, and what a push it's going to be. A lot of marines, a lot of marauders, and even a tank. That's why I feel like the trade was a little bit better for Trap, because he was able to shave off some of these marines, and the marines are going to like kind of overwhelm, and we're going to see a bit of a domino effect here, especially now that Stim is done. Like, these marines are going to be so crucial to the push, and killing off any marines early on is going to be amazing for Trap. Meanwhile, Trap, he slips in, he confirms the production, confirms how late the starport is, like, oh, okay, you know, it is going to be a very strong buy push coming across the map. Trap now knows everything, essentially, and he can now start preparing at home. He needs to be very active with these stalkers. As soon as the push starts coming, he needs to force a siege, pick off some marines, maybe even pick off a medevac as well, like ideal scenario, and he also has to get ready with some shield batteries at home. Like, he has to be careful not to be too greedy. He's getting his 3rd, which is fine. He's working on his tech, but again, shield batteries, they're pretty good. Oh my, as he's going straight for Storm. I don't know if I like this. You could argue maybe like he was already committed, but yeah, he's going straight for Storm. Hopefully for Trap, he's able to survive long enough for Storm to really come into play. Storms are going to be amazing, don't get me wrong, but Time's push may hit before Storm finishes, or before any High Templar are ready. Here we go. Time does force him back. +1, about to finish up. Medevacs are on the way. There we go. We have our first 2 medevacs. This is all scattered by Trap. He does confirm the push, or confirms the army at least. We'll see if it is going to be a push, as, ooh, the Observer gets cleaned up. There we go. Trap is getting ready. He's got his shield batteries. He has High Templar pre-morphed in, gathering that energy for those storms. And it looks like he will get Storm in time. Nice. I do feel like because Time got scattered, he didn't really want to push out, right? There was an Observer, there was a Pylon as well, so may as well just secure this 3rd base. It's a little bit worrisome because this 3rd is relatively late. Like, the build that he was going for was to muster a pretty strong force to begin with, to push out, and because it was scattered, he's respecting his opponent enough to recognize that, hey, like, I can't necessarily do much with this. He scans, sees all the High Templar, has to assume Storm is done, he pulls back. So, not the most ideal scenario here for Time, to be honest. Again, he amassed an army that he didn't really get to use. It's not the worst, obviously. He can start working on +2. He's working on +1 armor instead. But of course, he can just continue to work on upgrades, work on his army, establish his 3rd base. Just, it does feel like he's a little bit behind. Meanwhile, now it's Trap's time to move out, mate. This madman, he's got Storm. There's nothing stopping him. He's getting ready to take a 4th base as well. Pushing off the ramp is a little bit questionable. Like, you don't want to be pushing into the Terran. This is exactly what Time wants. Storm connects with only 2 Marauders, but again, we have tanks, we have Widow Mines, we have missile turrets as well. We have even a couple of supply depots to mess up the AI of charge. Like, Trap does not want to push into this. Calm down, buddy. Calm down. Yeah, both players kind of bounce off each other, they glance off each other, and now Trap just takes the 4th base. We do see a bit of a double drop headed towards the towards the Zelnaga tower, but that's exactly where the army of Trap is, so Time is going to have to be a little bit careful, has to be careful not to lose his medevacs. He does try to trade, start a step back. At the same time, Trap sneaks into the main base. Time has eyes on this, so this shouldn't deal too much damage. Thankfully, there are only Zealots. It wasn't a storm drop or anything crazy like that. Zealots will be cleaned up. And now we are going into a later game. Trap working on diversifying his splash damage. Colossus on the way. Extended thermal lance on the way. So he's going to have storms plus Colossus. Upgrades are on the way as well. He is a little bit behind in the upgrades, but he's looking to try and catch up in that respect. Meanwhile, Time working on Ghosts. We all know how good Ghosts are. Ghosts are going to be amazing against all those High Templar and Archons and Charge Lots. Not so much against Colossus, so he has to recognize that there is a Colossus transition and start working on things like Viking, or start working on a more anti-Colossus army as well. Once they come out, as they are on the way. And yeah, he's already working on it. Yo, our first Viking is out. First 2 Vikings even. So he's on the way. He's en route. Looking good. now we're just kind of backing off and chilling. It's one of those things where like the early game, like the game overall has been relatively passive, but it's been passive because they keep scouting each other and they keep seeing what each other's doing. Like StarCraft can be, or is, a game of like not misinformation, but you know, incomplete information. And once you recognize what your opponent's doing, like at a high enough level, like you can respond and you can be ready for it. So in a way, this is kind of both players are really respecting each other, and just again, the game goes on because of it. Meanwhile, Trap is trying to find another way in. Ooh, gonna take a bit of a Widowmine shot there. Decent split towards the end, but again, he won't find a way in. We got plenty of tanks. We got a nice spread of bio as well. Planetary is on the way, but Trap's plan here is to pull away the attention of Time, going for a drop into the main base, forcing a lot of supply to respond to this, so then maybe Trap can find a way in. Opts not to go for it. Again, there's still a siege line. There's still plenty to defend. Ooh, but the Vikings do catch the Widowmine. They do catch the War Prism, which is honestly a really great pickoff. Now Time doesn't have to worry about this. Now he can focus the entirety of his attention on the main army. There's no War Prism to distract him. Meanwhile, Trap is getting the trifecta. We got Storm, we got Colossus, and we got Disruptors. We got a little bit of everything. That's kind of what you want here for Trap. If the game goes on longer, we should be seeing some Stargates and a transition into Skytoss. Meanwhile, Trap, taking a cheeky ninja base here towards the top left. Not the most likely of bases to expand to, but if it goes unscouted, like, it will pay off. It will pay for itself. Yes, here we go. Time is maxed out. He's ready to move out. Oh my god, no! Oh! The Purification Nova goes off and 5 ghosts go down just like that. That's all of his EMPs. He can't keep going. Time, porque? Okay, he does have 1 ghost left. Ooh, I thought that was basically every ghost. Thankfully, we do have 1 ghost remaining with an EMP, but Time, upon losing all of that, he cannot push in, mate. We still got plenty more storms. We still got plenty of shields. Time has to back off. Oh, that was rough. that was so unlucky. The unfortunate part of that was that the medevacs weren't nearby, so he couldn't just pick up Micro. He couldn't pick up his ghost to save them. They were just left on their own. Feels bad, man. Terrans, look away. Of course, this buys time for Trav to get these bases up and running. He can just focus on more upgrades. Like, he is chill, and he is out mining his opponent. And it's gonna be a little bit difficult for Trap and Time. Shaking my, I keep mixing up their names. It's gonna be a little bit difficult for Time to expand. He is taking a base towards the north, but I feel like Trap is gonna be rotated in that direction pretty shortly. Meanwhile, War Prism is trying to sneak its way in. Once again, it has been rebuilt, goes into the main base, and we have our DTs. Ay. So the entire army comes back. Uh-oh. Okay. He splits up. But again, now is the opportunity for Trap to pounce. Oh, we do have a bit of an EMP. Trap, again, rotating towards a fresh base. Time knows he cannot take it. He will pull back. Oh, the ghosts are coming in. Oh, we are going to have some EMPs, but no, once again, the ghosts in the front line, they all go down, but they did get their EMPs off. Maybe, despite that, it's going to be enough. No, it looks like the Buyer's going to be able to chase us down. Another storm on the Buyer, though. There's only 2 Colossus remaining, soon to be 1. It looks like Time may have enough to break him. But we have a couple more High Templar on the way. Yo, the War Prism Micro saves the Colossus. Oh my god. I apologize, that was pretty chaotic with what was happening, but now with the reinforcements, Trap just has far too much here. The storms were good enough. It didn't help that the ghost died immediately at the start of the engagements. There are those storms we were talking about. Ay. Trap just has far too much splash damage. GG gets pulled, and Trap takes game number 1. Those are some. You don't want to be a ghost in Time's army. Ay. It felt like they were the first to die in both big engagements. Like they were. Oh boy. At least that game they did. That final fight they did get their EMPs off, and that did make it closer than it otherwise would have been. Like the Vikings were putting in a lot of work. The spread was okay as well, but the problem is that when the Protoss has 3 different kinds of splash damage, like it's so difficult to force a fight there with just bio. Like, you need to start working on like liberators with lib range as well, and kind of bully the Protoss opponent, because all three forms of splash damage are, you know, based on the ground, right? Colossus, Disruptors, and High Templar. Ghost lib is kind of what you want to be going for a little bit more. Yeah. GG. GG. And with that, we are headed towards game number 2. Again, this is a best of 3, so we still have plenty more games ahead of us. Plenty of opportunities to go to the ace match and for time to bring it back. Meanwhile, let me just send a cheeky message to Yaku. Wait. Yaku, ¿a dónde estás? Oh, as we have our lobby. Us alive. You can hear the beeps. We are counting down and getting into game número 2. And ooh, we're gonna be on Berlingrad. Oh my. Here we go. Send us to him after this series. Oh god. Alright. Beautiful. And spawning in the top left hand corner. The top left hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have our South Korean Protoss player, currently leading this series 1-0. Hailing from the land of South Korea, representing Kwangdong Freaks, it is Trap. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have our Chinese Terran player, currently down in this series but not out. He still has a chance here to bring it to the ace match, representing KaiZ Gaming. It is time. Oh boy. So again, game 1 was rough just because Time came in with a plan and he was never able to execute it. Like, just at every turn he was being slowed down to the point where going for any kind of timing with +1 or with Stim or with his Medivacs off of that 3 racks just wasn't going to work. It just wasn't going to work. And Time knew that, so the game was elongated as a result when he was in a lot of ways behind. You know, his economy was behind. He had to play catch up in a lot of respects. So hopefully he's able to dictate the pace of the game a little bit more here in game number 2. Like, I imagine we're gonna be seeing something similar. I doubt we're gonna see another 3 racks opener, or another 3 racks. But I do think we're gonna see some aggression from Time. Like, I don't think he wants to go into a longer game. I feel like that would be a bad idea. We'll see. Oof. As he does open up once again with a Marine, doesn't go for the Reaper opener, so he will have very limited scouting early on. On top of that, I'm a little bit surprised. So usually when you go for a Marine opener like this, a Marine first, you go for an SCV scout, right? Because you need to figure out what's going on. And you're not going for a Reaper, so you need some scouting. But Time doesn't send anything across the map. He knows nothing. Essentially, he's gambling. He is hoping that Trap doesn't proxy him. And I mean, he's gambling correctly. Trap isn't proxying him. But you know, it's a bit of a risk. But I guess it's a risk that Time is willing to take. Trap doesn't come across as the kind of player to proxy anything across the map, so you know, he can be this greedy and get away with it. Meanwhile, now we have 3 Marines here at home protecting said building natural base. Even have 2 Reapers on the way as well. This first Adept shouldn't get too much done, but we also have a second Adept on the way, and with 2 Adepts, yo, you can shade in, you can get workers, you can even kill all these Marines. Oh. Also, I like how Time hasn't repositioned yet. He's still making his CC. It's like, I'll get there, I'll get there. He doesn't want the Adepts to shade underneath it and delay it. Oh. So second adept shows up, but now with our Reaper, with our Hellion, yo, time is perfectly fine. He can chase us away, repositions his CC, and now all is well in the world. Yeah. And once again, time he's opening up with some Blink Stalkers. As there was a Twilight Council opener, Blink is now on the way. Pretty standard. Again, this is kind of what you expect to see in a TvP from the side of Protoss. And of course, time is just going to slip in, and he's just going to confirm that. Again, he didn't have an SCV scout or a Reaper scout earlier, so he needed to see. For the sake of his own mindset, he needed to know what was happening, and now he's like, okay, we do have just Blink on the way. Nothing crazy. There's no Stargate opener. I don't have to worry about an Oracle slipping in or anything like that. I am safe. As back at home, something that's interesting, I don't know how I feel about this, but time even invested in a Cyclone. I feel like you would do this if you didn't know what was coming, because Cyclone is great to defend against, you know, an early War Prism if we had like a Disruptor drop, like an early Robo, or an Oracle or Phoenixes, you know, a Stargate opener essentially. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like maybe arguably waste resources. Could have maybe gotten a faster tank out instead, but time just playing safe overall. No, it was already being produced because it didn't scout anything earlier, so may as well just let it finish. And now we have our tank set up. One in the main, one in the natural. It's so important that you do prioritize this tank in the main as well, just because Trap can always blink into the main base. He does have a high ground vision. He does have blink. You got to be able to cover your bases. God, that's a lot of Marines. that's just a lot of Marines. Oh, meanwhile, Trap actually blinks behind the mineral line. Interesting blink. Doesn't lose any Stalkers at least. You know, gets 2 SCVs. I guess technically worth it. Did take a bit of shield damage though, or hull damage even. This time actually is gonna find a way into the main. He saw that the tanks were on siege, so now he just makes his way in. He saw an opportunity and he goes for it. Meanwhile, time doesn't turn around. He's going across the map. He doesn't even care about these Stalkers. He's gonna lose so many workers. Oh, but he forces the recall. There we go. Trappy comes all the way back home. Does he have enough to defend? He's going to try and force a siege up. But time, he doesn't even care. He stims on forward. And this may be enough. Here we go. The tanks are sieging up. An Immortal is on the way. And with an Immortal, he can break the siege line. But it looks like the Nexus is the edge. Time just has too much, and to be fair, he needed to deal with this damage. He lost 7 SCVs across the map, so likewise he's able to kill 6 probes, or even a couple more. Nice, does catch 3 more probes. Oh, and I don't know if I like this. He does end up lifting up and sieging up outside the main base, somehow keeps both tanks alive. Oh my god. Suddenly it's well worth it. And now the production is exposed. He can just keep going. Cybercore goes down. No more Stalkers are going to be warped in. And on top of that, charge could be denied as well. We do see Trap trying to go for a bit of a surround. He comes down with his Immortal, but it's not going to be enough. The Marines are just too good. Doesn't stick around. Doesn't go for the Immortal. In the end, Trap will save his Twilight Council. That could have been a lot worse. And time makes up for the fact that, you know, his SCVs were killed, his CC is on the way, technically faster than Trap's. And this follow-up push potentially could have ended the game if he had killed this Twilight Council, and if there was no charge. Like without charge, it's so difficult to defend against these bio pushes. But Trap may have enough to defend. He doesn't have a shield battery. He doesn't have overcharge. Oh, we see a stim on forward. Snipes the Archon. Yo, with 2 Widow Mines. It may just be too much. Unfortunately for Trap, he was in the middle of going across the map with the rest of his units. Even the high energy High Templar gets sniped. Storm finishes, but there's nothing to storm. He doesn't have a High Templar left. Meanwhile, War Prism does get across the map. Oh my god, the High Templar are here. We have a storm. Oh no. The storm on all the SCVs. 19 SCV kills. Oh my god. The massacre. The humanity. Trap, please. Ah. Oh my god. Just like that, Trap is back into this. He's ahead in workers. He's got his third up and running. Ay, ay, ay. The one High Templar drop. The High Templar is still in here, by the way. Oh god! The Widow Mine. Oh, Trap sees. He doesn't get baited. He backs off. Meanwhile, at the same time, we have a Doom drop head towards the main base. Trap is trying to chase it down. But he will miss it. The drop does get into the main. Doesn't waste his time with the tech. He goes straight for the main base. Oh, Nexus is being focused down. The rest of the army is on the way. Recall even being used, but it's not going to be fast enough. The Nexus gets sniped. No probe kills, but killing a base like this, mate, it's definitely a way to get back into this. Oh my god, but the High Templar is back. Oh god, if he goes too close. Oh god, he goes too close to the edge. The Widow Mines. Oh, only one Widow Mine went off, not two. War Prism barely survives. It's another storm off. This game, it's so wild. Trap, he's coming in with 3 storm. There's got to be too much Protoss, right? There has to be. There are going to be 3 Widow Mine shots. Sorry. Oh my god, 5 Widow Mine shots that can go off. So maybe with the Widow Mines, time is able to hold on. Trap isn't going to be pushing off that ramp anytime soon. Meanwhile, the EMP on the High Templar. Oh my god. The Rogue Ghosts. He's doing it. I was like, with 4 storms, there's no way that time is able to hold. But with the EMPs, time can do it. Able to clean up this army. Unfortunately, he did lose his CC though. Like, losing the CC is brutal. Trap saw his Nexus kill and he raises a CC. And now I feel like time may be all in. I say maybe all in because Trap is still only on 2 Nexuses as well. So it's hard to say. The economic situation is pretty similar for both players. Oh god. Sick Widow Mine. Sorry, sick War Prism Micro able to dodge the Widow Mine shots. Despite having Storm, we still didn't have any High Templar here, unfortunately. So Trap doesn't have too much to defend, but it may be enough regardless, especially with 2 shield batteries, especially with an overcharge. Like, the only way I see this working is maybe if time gets an EMP on both shield batteries just to deplete their energy. But even that may not be enough. We'll see. He dives in. Where's the overcharge? Where's the overcharge? Oh god. Oh, we didn't even need it. Oh my. We don't even need it. Meanwhile, more Widow Mine shots go off. Unfortunately, Blink was not available there on those Stalkers. And time is trying to force his way through. He deals with all the gateway units. He's breaking through. He's doing it. Oh my god. The War Prism Micro is trying to keep everything alive. Finally, we have that overcharge, and with the overcharge, Trap holds on once again. Time scans the main base, confirms that Trap is only on 2 Nexuses. So Time's okay. He didn't have to kill him then and there. I thought it was going to lift his main and land at the 3rd, but whatever. He just builds on location. Meanwhile, he does snipe the War Prism. Trap barely was able to unload those Immortals. Yeah, and Trap, he sees the army. He cannot push in. Not like this. He does now have 2 High Templar again, and he has enough energy for 2 Storms. Those are going to be so crucial, though. Oh, God. Trap once again trying to brute force his way in there. Storm 1. We have 1 more behind that. Oh, pull the boys, Puppy. Pull the boys. Oh, God. Speaking of that 1 storm. Oh, I thought we were going to see it on the SCVs. Okay, okay. Trap holds onto it. He doesn't want to waste it. Oh, the feedbacks. I was waiting for the EMPs. No one suspects the feedback, the flanking feedback. There's still 2 ghosts left. And Trap. Oh, he's gonna take the win here. Take the fact that he's forced to lift up of the 3rd base and we'll back off. Meanwhile, Trap, I like that he's not like he doesn't care about getting a Nexus in the main base. He does take the 4th instead. Technically 3rd. And we're gonna settle from here. Forge is on the way for upgrades. Time rescans the main. Maybe a mistake. Doesn't see that another base is on the way. And things are calming down. Meanwhile, this is... Oh. I was like, is this a pure Zealot drop? No, this is a Storm drop. Oh, God. Thankfully for Time, there aren't a lot of SCVs. Like, these bases are not saturated because there just aren't enough... There just aren't enough mineral patches. It's okay. If we see a Storm drop, we're only going to get like 5 SCV kills. But this is becoming a problem. Like, Time is going to have to lift up his main or natural soon to just expand. Ay. Yaku's awake! He is awake! He'll be joining me for the semifinals. Oh my god. Meanwhile, be careful. There's a Storm jump. There are 3 High Templar in this War Prism. Respect the Prism. Respect it. Oh god, he's face checking with the... Oh, he's face checking with the ghosts. Does get an EMP off. Not before the force field. Time is so ambitious with his ghosts, mate. Every single time. It makes me feel uneasy. Here we go again. The EMPs go forward. Does land 1, but the overcharge makes up for it. Meanwhile, we have 1 more EMP available. Does go for the Prism instead. And it looks like, oh, the Prism will survive. Vikings don't chase it down. Oh, and here we go. All right, maybe even the last fight of the game. Time, he's going to try and break his opponent again. He's essentially on 1 base economy right now. He has to make something happen here. At the same time, we see a run by, but the reinforcements are at home. Time defends. Oh, God. Split, Poppy, split. Had a couple more storms go off. We still have another storm in that War Prism. In the back of the army, I should say. Oh, God. Now it's in the Prism. Oh! Prism gets picked up. Oh, the High Templar barely gets unloaded. Time he sees. He needs the EMP. He wants it. Oh, God. Force fields do cut up the army. Ah, and the feedback kills the ghosts. No more EMPs available. I just it feels like this fight has been going on for 5 minutes. It's oh god. Now finally it may happen. He gets the EMP off on the High Templar, but there's always more behind it. There's always just more. There's always more storms. Time just he can't break through. He cannot find any headway here. Thankfully he did lift up his main base. Thankfully he's taking another base behind this though. He still has an economy. Barely. And I just don't know where to go from here. Like, part of me, oh no, the storm goes off and Time just sits on it. Ay. I was gonna say that I feel like maybe Time should back up and just actually invest in an army, because he just keeps rallying across the map. He just keeps rallying just these small army forces. But at the same time, I understand that he feels pressured to do so, just because he doesn't want Trap's economy to get up and running again. But the reality is that it is up and running again. And Time just doesn't have the numbers to defend anymore. He gets pulled apart. The Zealot run by here at the 3rd base, the main army here at the 4th. It looks like Time will keep the base alive, but 16 more SCVs go down. Like, Time is just looking for a head-on engagement, but Trap just never gives it to him. Or if he does, like, there are always shield batteries and overcharges to support. Here we go, the flanking storm, Oh, High Templar gets picked up before it's able to get a spell off. Meanwhile, the EMPs land on the second High Templar. But there's just barely anything here. There's always just barely anything here. And I think that's it. I think finally time has been broken. We see even the aggressive blink forward here from Trap. He knows. The game has just been so scrappy on both ends. And time just doesn't have enough. GG gets called. We don't even have a final fight. Trap does it. He takes the series 2-0. Oh my god. And with that, my condolences to Time. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. But I would also like to welcome, we lose one Terran, but we gain another. Welcome, Yaku. Good morning. Good morning.
10. I am the Time replacement. Which has been understood.
Yeah, I mean, you're about the same age. It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, literally. No, I think he's 1 month older than me, but yeah, pretty much. Pretty much the same age.
Hey, GG.
Yes, GG. I caught the tail end of that game. That was not pretty at all. My Terran heart goes out.
Man, you should be glad that you missed out on game one. Game one.
Should I?
Game one, Time came out. We maxed out 200 supply army, like facing each other. He comes out with his 5 ghosts to EMP, and he runs into a purification headbutt. He loses all his ghosts.
Oh man, that's always the most painful part.
Yeah.
The one unit of Terran that is the direct counter to Protoss gets just snapped out immediately.
Yeah.
Feels bad, man. That's the only shot.
Yeah, feels bad, man. Feels bad. Oh, God. But yeah, my heart goes out to Time. He fought hard in both games, but Trap just showed his dominance here. I say dominance. Game 2 was very scrappy. It was very back and forth, but what a TvP.
What a TvP. From what I could see.